Costco or Walmart? Which of these stores is better for the keto diet? We're going to find out. We're going to put these two stores to the test. We're going to be looking at keto options at both stores, and we're going to keep this at a high level commodity style. So that means we're not looking at individual products, but we're looking at the raw ingredients themselves. On the ketogenic diet, there'll be 5 major food groups. The first and foremost is going to be eggs, then bacon, ground beef, brats, and for the well-off, we're looking at ribeyes. What we're going to do is go through both stores. We're going to look at the pricing and see which ones come out on top. First and foremost, if you're at Costco, you do have to pay a membership fee. In the near future, Costco is going to be raising its basic membership fee from $60 to $65, while the executive plan will be going from $120 to $130. We do want to factor this in when looking at the prices and comparing items. If you're already on the ketogenic diet, I'm going to be assuming any of the 5 things we covered today, you're probably getting a minimum of at least 1 per week. To keep things simple, in order to break even, if you had a basic membership, you would need to save about $1.25 per item in order to hit equilibrium. And then if you're an executive member, you'd have to be hitting around $2 savings per item to hit equilibrium. This doesn't even factor in any of the other benefits like gas and things like that. We're just looking at the food items. To kick things off, why don't we cover my favorite food group first? It's going to be bacon. Bacon from Costco and Walmart, not very comparable. We're going to start out with Costco's bacon. You're going to see right here the blue pack bacon. This bacon comes out to $3.78 per pound. And the best part about all this, you get it in a 4-pack, so it's going to last you a long time. Slightly more expensive is their low salt option. This is also a sugar-free bacon for those people out there that are really trying to go zero carbohydrate. The red pack bacon from Costco has no sugar in it. It does come out to be a little bit more expensive at $4.25 per pound. And then if we move up and we get the nicer bacons, you've got the thick cut bacon coming out to $4.49. And then the premium bacon at Costco is going to be the Coleman brand. Unfortunately, when I shot this, they didn't have the price sticker up. It normally is going to run around $17.50 on average, but that might change depending on stores and location and, of course, what time of the year you bought it and where you bought it at. So let's compare that with now the Walmart side. Starting at the cheapest, you've got the Great Value brand. It's going to be $4.88. Already, we can compare that to the Costco Blue Pack, which was $3.78. Coming in at $1.08 more per pound. Over the span of the year, this is already going to add up. But look at this. The Hormel bacon is $5.98. Hormel. I'm not saying they're a bad brand, but they're not exactly what I think of when I think of premium. So already this bacon is more expensive than any of the bacons that you're going to find at Costco. It only goes up from here. The Oscar Mayer bacon, $7.48 per pound. So if you think about that, this 1 pound of bacon from Walmart is over $2 more than any of the bacons you're getting at Costco. Costco comes out ahead, first place for sure on the bacon. The only advantage that you might get from shopping at Walmart when it comes to bacon is that you do get a little bit more variety, maybe a little bit more options in terms of flavor. But because we're going at this commodity style, from a ketogenic standpoint, the point is moot. The macros are almost identical from store to store. Bacon on average is going to have a 1.2 keto ratio, meaning you're getting 1.2 grams of fat for every gram of protein. These are great keto macros. Gets you right in that sweet spot. In the carbohydrate count, sometimes they have a gram for sugar. This is negligible. It's not really something that we need to worry about. If you really were that concerned about it though, the red packet bacon is sugar-free. That's as zero carb as you can possibly get. Something to definitely keep in mind for those that are going for zero carbohydrates. Costco's the clear winner when it comes to bacon. Now let's take a look at eggs. The eggs gets a little bit more interesting. I've always been a big fan of the 5 dozen eggs, especially at Costco, coming in at $10.79. These fit nicely in the refrigerator. You can hang on to them for long periods of time. You don't need to restock every week. And when you break this down into its smallest parts, these eggs are only $2.15 per dozen. So that's an incredible value. It's going to be really hard to find prices like that at Walmart already. But look at this, the Walmart brand, for the same amount of eggs, 5 dozen, it's $13 on the dot. That's more than $2 more than the other eggs. Now, granted, you're not buying these on a weekly basis, but that's still a pretty steep price increase. If we're factoring in the cost of the Costco membership, so far just what we've gone over the bacon and eggs alone, it already looks like you're getting that membership paid off in spades just by buying the regular keto items. But we'll see about that as this goes on. Looking at Costco's more organic variety, there's going to be two options. There's going to be the mid-level organic, which are the white eggs. They come out to $4.69. But it's a 2 dozen pack, so if we break that down, that's $2.34 per dozen. Looking at the brown eggs, it's considerably more, coming out to $7.49 for a 2 dozen, breaking that down into $3.74 per dozen. So, how does Walmart stack up? Well, this is the real eye-opener. 1 dozen eggs of just basic regular eggs at Walmart comes out to $3.56. Wait till you get a load of how expensive their organic eggs are, coming out to $4.08. There is no egg at Costco that you can buy that's in the $4 range. And Costco's got the nice brown eggs. Those are about as organic as you're gonna get. Now, me personally, I'm not the biggest stickler when it comes to organics. While it is nice to think about the quality of life that the animal had while it's living, let's be brutally honest here. There's no way for me or you to actually know how truthful any of these stickers are on the packages. They say they're cage-free, they say they're free-range, they might say they're not fed this or fed that. Let's be real with each other. Are you and I going to these farms to verify that? No, of course not. All we know is what is on the sticker. In my opinion, they're just marketing strategies to suck a little bit of extra money out of you. That's my personal belief. I could be completely wrong about that. But since I don't doubt it, I'm going to always go with the cheaper options. To me, eggs are eggs. Until somebody can prove me wrong on that, I'm going to be sticking with the 5 dozen eggs from Costco. 60 eggs for $10.79. That to me is a steal. It's going to be hard to argue with that. So far, Costco is 2 for 2. Let's see how Walmart measures up on the ground beef. Ground beef at both stores is a little bit interesting. And ground beef in particular is actually very interesting for keto dieters. Let's say up front that the deeper your keto macros are, the easier it is to actually stick to a keto diet. So in a very strange situation, the fattier your ground beef is, actually the more desirable it is, specifically for a ketogenic diet. Lucky for us, the fattier ground beef is actually the cheapest ground beef. So we're already in luck there. The fattiest thing that you can get at Costco, it's not that fatty. Their ground beef starts out at 88.12, meaning it's 88% lean, 12% fat. For people on more regular standard diets, this is a good thing because when it comes to calorie counting, having the less fatty meat does make it lower calorie. But if we're on a ketogenic diet, we're not concerned about that because carbohydrates are not in the picture. So already I do have to say, maybe the Costco ground beef is not ideal for the ketogenic diet, but just looking at the price point, doing pretty good. It's coming out to $4.49 per pound. If you wanted to go more upscale, you could grab their organic ground beef, which is leaner by the way at 90.10. This ground beef comes out to be roughly $7.79, give or take. In some cases, the sticker may be different from store to store. And then you've got the ultra premium beef. It's not even ground beef at all. It's actually going to be ground bison. This is incredibly lean and it's also delicious. Maybe not the most keto and carnivore friendly meat you can get out there. But if you're on the side of things where you're more concerned about organics or being all natural, the wild caught bison is going to be a showstopper for you. It is a little bit more expensive, and unfortunately when I was at Costco today, they didn't have the price sticker up for this one. Now looking this one up online, I saw multiple different sticker prices. It is unfortunate that as time goes on, these images may be from past years or past months. The most recent one that I could find had the ground bison at $20 per 2-pack, which roughly puts it at around $8 per unit. So that's going to be a little bit on the premium side. And on top of that, if you're on a ketogenic diet, it might not be the greatest selection for you in the first place because the protein count is going to way eclipse the fat content. But if you're on a more regular diet and it does have carbohydrates involved in it, that actually is probably a good option for you, especially if you really care about the organics, al natural style of eating. Let's see how Walmart measures up. Now, the one nice thing that Walmart does have going for it, it's got a lot more variety and a lot more selection. So that does mean that their bottom level is more bottom than Costco, but it also means that their upper level actually slightly exceeds Costco's. But you pay for that in price. Let's take a look at this. For their bottom of the barrel ground beef, you can get $73.27 beef from Walmart. Comes out to be a lot more expensive than the cheapest ones at Costco. That's $4.48. The one thing this has going for it though is the keto macros on the Walmart ground beef are actually pretty insane. I think in the one case you could make here for Walmart, you might actually want to go with their $73.27 ground beef purely for the keto macros. Again, if you wanted to jack up those macros on your own, you could use any ground beef you want and just add butter to it. But by default, that's actually going to be a pretty solid keto meal at the expense of a little bit more cost. Now, once we move up to the more premium ground beefs at Walmart, the advantages start to dissipate because they're more identical matches to what Costco has. The price gets wildly out of control. The 80/20 beef, which is the next step up at Walmart, comes out to $4.63. The keto macros on here are still really good at about a 1.2. So you've got 22 grams of fat and 19 grams of protein. That's still excellent, but I'm not too happy about the price markup. It's already more expensive than Costco's bottom line. As you move up the chain, you got the 85/15 beef. This is going to be the most comparable beef that Walmart has in comparison to Costco. The price on this one is ridiculous, $6.41 for nearly identical product to what we've got at Costco. The Costco ground beef is 13 grams of fat for every 22 grams of protein. The 85/15 at Walmart is 17 grams of fat for every 24 grams of protein. Very similar, almost identical, but you're paying $2 more per pound. If you're eating ground beef weekly, this is going to add up really fast. And it only goes up from there. Walmart's leanest ground beef comes out to 96.4, which is actually pretty cool that you can get a ground beef that lean, but the price on it is wild at $7.96. You're only getting 4.5 grams of fat, but you're getting 24 grams of protein. It's actually a pretty decent option for people that are not on the ketogenic diet. They're doing more volume style eating that is very high in protein, low in fats, and medium in carbohydrates. But wow, is that going to drain your bank account? Can you imagine spending $8 for every pound of ground beef you eat? If you're a big time meat eater and that's a majority of your diet, you're probably looking at close to 2 pounds of meat per day. Are you really spending $16 per day on ground beef? I just don't know. Personally, despite the fact that Walmart does have a little bit more options here, I'm still gonna say Costco's got this one in spades. So far, Costco is 3 for 3. Next down the list for the perfect keto meats, it's gonna be bratwursts. These are awesome on keto, especially because of their keto macros. Usually they're gonna be a little bit higher than the bacon and the burgers, a lot more fatty. You can sometimes get brats with keto ratings all the way up to 2-to-1, which is incredible. 2-to-1 keto macros is going to make you lose weight like crazy. And not necessarily because this level of keto is more fat burning than that level of keto. It just comes down to hunger and appetite control. The deeper your keto macros are, the less you'll experience feeling hungry. At the end of the day, it is always calories in and calories out. But what people find when they're on really high keto macros, because they're not that hungry, they're not eating as often, and the end result is that they're actually in a deeper calorie deficit at the end of the day. That's where the fat loss comes from, is from that calorie deficit. So these deep keto macros from brats, really highly recommend. Costco really only has 2 major varieties of brats. They've got their own in-house brats and also Italian sausage, which usually comes out almost identical in macros, and they have the same price. For 56 ounces or 3.5 pounds at Costco, you're looking at $9.99, otherwise known as $10. $10 for 3.5 pounds of meat in general is already a steal, but it only helps solidify this being so strong on the keto macros. If you're on the keto diet and you're on a budget, the brats are actually going to be what I think you should really lean into. Costco's brats are going to be 22 grams of fat for every 18 grams of protein. These in particular are very similar to the macros you're going to find on bacon, maybe just slightly ahead with a slightly higher keto content. Otherwise, quite comparable. I'm not going to dig into individual brands in this video, but there are sausages you can get at Costco that are actually well beyond 1.2 keto macros. I covered that in my previous Costco video. If you're interested in that, check out that video after this video. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So Costco's brats already off to a really good start. Let's see what Walmart's working with. At Walmart, you've got the Johnsonville. These ones are coming out to $4 a pound. That's eclipsing the Costco price by a long shot. In fact, if you were to compare all the items we've looked at so far, Walmart's brats are probably the most expensive in comparison to their Costco alternatives. All of the brat options at Walmart are going to be pretty comparable in price. You can see that these marketplace ones come out to $3.67. Keto macros on them are relatively the same. Now, some of these sausages have cheese in them. Some of them are going to have different additives in them. So those keto macros do change based on the flavor. Cheese is going to add a lot more fat, which is actually kind of what we want. But all the other flavors, if there's anything sweet in them, it's going to increase the carbohydrate content. And it's going to make you a little less keto than you could be. Small amounts of carbohydrates, it's not going to make a big deal in the keto diet, especially if you're keeping your grams of carbs below 50 per day. Whether you're at 0 carbs or 50, the difference here is actually quite negligible. The average keto dieter is not going to notice the difference. You don't get knocked out of ketosis until you've reached an upper limit, maybe 75 grams of carbs up to 100 grams of carbs. That's when we can start talking about maybe you're getting knocked out of keto. As long as your grams of carbs are on the lower side, don't nickel and dime them. It's not worth the head trouble. But looking at these prices, I can already tell you guys, I'm going to be going with Costco on this one, and I think that this one is so far the most telling. When you have an almost $2 difference on the bottom tier of Walmart's brats in comparison to Costco's, and Costco only has one option, that's not a very good look for Walmart. With $10 alone, you can go to Costco and get 4 or 5 days worth of brats, and I'm considering this as if you're eating them every day. That's going to be insane for budgeting and doing keto. Walmart side of things, if you're having that many brats per week, that's going to already jack you up to like $15 to $20, and that's assuming that you're getting the bottom of the barrel at Walmart and not their more premium brats. So far, Costco's at 4 to 4, guys. But before we move on to the ribeye, if I still got you, could you go ahead and subscribe to my channel? Every little bit of engagement really helps me grow this channel. We're still relatively new, but I think we're getting there. We're getting close to breaking through. And on top of that, let me know in the comments below what you would like to see me cover next. I love engaging with you guys. Half the times you help me out with my video inspiration. So with that, let's dive into the ribeye steaks. The ribeye at both Costco and Walmart, for the very first time, the prices are almost identical. They're very comparable. Now here's the deal. The ribeye steak is always going to be expensive. At Costco, we're looking at $15 per pound. At Walmart, it's $14.97. They've actually beat Costco by 2 cents, if you can believe it. Wow, what a steal, right? If you're the type of person that's buying ribeye steaks, you're probably at the point where you don't care about price anymore. Here's the thing about ribeyes. If you're on the wealthier side, if you have a higher income, the ribeye is going to make sticking to the diet so easy. It's basically the ideal dinner for anyone that's on keto, carnivore, paleo, you name it. The keto macros on a ribeye steak just slightly above 1-to-1, so it's going to have the same fat content as things like the brats or the bacon. It's just going to be such a higher quality dining experience, especially for dinner. If you were to go out to a restaurant, it's probably going to be the premium thing to order off the menu anyways. All you'd have to do to stick to the keto diet is to just skip the potato or skip the bread or whatever the side dish is and just eat the steak and you'd be fine. Of course, you could still have the vegetables like the broccoli or the cauliflower or green beans. Don't worry, vegetables are never going to knock you out of ketosis. It's not something to worry about. As for these two stores, I'll throw Walmart a bone here. and say that they tied. I don't think a 2-cent difference is enough to actually give Walmart the win here. So the final score is going to be Costco 4, Walmart 0, and then they got a tie. They got a tie, but there's not going to be a tiebreaker here. Costco just clearly wins. If you're shopping at Costco on a weekly basis and you're buying one of these 5 items every week, all you would have to do is just buy one of the 5 every time you do visit the grocery store. You would pay off that membership difference and you'd be coming out way ahead of Walmart just off those 1 grocery items alone. Once you start introducing 2, I mean, if you're getting bacon and eggs, you can kiss Walmart goodbye. You're going to be greatly coming ahead on a Costco membership, whether you're on the basic or if you're on the executive. We haven't even talked about their gasoline. Costco is going to really come out ahead on this one. And just because they've increased their membership price by $5, it's not going to change that at all. I'm going to give Costco the win on this one for sure. But I want to hear from you guys. What's your favorite store to shop at? What do you guys want to hear me cover next? If you enjoyed this content and want to see more like it, every week I come out with a long form video like the one you're watching right now. Through the midweek, I release shorter, punchier videos that usually answer a specific question or topic. And then on Sundays at 11 a.m., I do a longer form live stream where I cover a concept and I break it down into its smallest components. This is a great way to get a lot of knowledge. So if you're going for a drive, doing your own cardio, or doing chores, I highly recommend you put on the Let's Walk and Talk podcast, and I'll pump information into your brain for 1 hour. Beyond that, you guys, I've been Andrew Fillion, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.